Welcome to another really exciting episode of Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am that Shawn, and so glad to be with you on a Monday. Last week, I know it was a Tuesday, but thanks to all of you for finding me wherever I wind up. And as so many of you have commented on, you're just happy to see that I have come in and done a show. But it takes a team. And it's a great team that I have, and I was just saying that these guys, I was sharing some of my personal life, and it was just, like talking to my siblings, like my brothers. Actually, I share more with them than I do some of my siblings. But so updates here. We have got a really, really exciting show, and as I told you, and actually said months ago that as time would progress, you'd start seeing some things come out of the woodwork, so to speak, or out of the mine shaft, or out of the ground, or wherever these wonderful rocks, minerals, fossils, carvings today, maybe. Really great stuff today. So if you liked last week's show, you're going to really love this week's show. With Raven kind of not as active and not able to do the show with me, well, she understands that we have to sell some things and get rid of some items, and it's just much easier if she doesn't see the items that I have taken away. I'm waiting to see, though, how long it takes her to notice, probably as soon as she gets real mobile around and starts looking. But the other side is, she needs, I need more money, and now she has contributed to the need. So, okay, she's doing great. Everyone's asked how she is, and wow. Every day, she's just raring to go, and had to go to the regular doctor today. So we'll see what that, how that checkup brings. But after 5 days in the ICU, 8 days in the hospital, which you can have a baby in less than 24 hours, and they have you out of the hospital. So 8 days is that's a long time. But it was that serious. But she is already saying again, I just can't wait till I get back to work. And of course, she's worked alongside me here for, I've been with Gem Shopping for like 14, 15 years, and she's only missed that by about 2 years in that length of stay. Well known, and she's loved by everybody, and more so than me, I think, even, and I can understand that, different personalities. So, all right. That's the update. She's rocking and rolling, and I love to see it. I love makes me happier, gives me a little bit more pep to my step. Let's say. Okay, so now, because of the way, which I meant to say to everybody, if you want to get your comments or your trivia in, to make sure that you got the answers in right away, because of the way we recorded the show and posted the show on Tuesday instead of Monday, and then we record Monday's show usually on Thursday. So there was a shortened amount of time in between for everybody to get their comments in or the trivia answers in. And I apologize for just not reminding you that that there was a shorter window. So not as many comments, not as many trivia answers. So it improved the odds. When we have trivia answers that are the same, we assign a number to the person. We just randomly draw a number or name out, and we let the universe, let's say, pick the winner. And by doing that, it's really amazing how oftentimes the gift fits the need or the person. Hey, that's a great way to do it. It takes out of my hands how and let fate decide. Okay, let's get to those questions because there is a lot of items I have to get to. Now, here's the thing. Some of these items now, I'm showing one today that is into the museum grade quality, and many others would make a museum as well, especially some of the ones that I have seen. I have referenced one, which I'm never going to knock a museum. And this one was a national park museum, and in a place in the Smoky Mountains. And it was funny because when we went into the museum, what they called a museum, I guess it was, and maybe for a lot of people it would have been quite interesting, but we were through it in a few minutes, and what we have again, on our credenza, could have really probably tripled their items that they had on display, and were far exceeding the quality and value that they had. But it doesn't matter. As long as, now Tellus, that's a whole nother story. Tellus off of I-75 in Cartersville, I think is the address. I highly recommend. And it's not just a gem and mineral museum, it's a motion museum. They have everything to do with like motion. So they have, everything from an actual space capsule to a bicycle, and to some really cool things. They had a hovercraft there at one exhibition that I had never seen up close work and operate, and boy, did that make me want to have a hovercraft. So great place to go to. And if you're ever, on your way to Florida, you're going to pass right by it, and you're going to see it. It is just within eyeshot of I-75. And for me, it's not far away at all, really. And to get there, I pass also a national battlefield, cemetery. I think they call it something else. I'm forgetting the word right now. But which is, I'm always interested in history, and especially the kind of history that occurred, everything from the gold rush, right, in my backyard, basically, to huge and important Civil War history as well. So, the area I live in, by the way, Forsyth County, that's the county I live in, and they just came out with the top 500 counties across the nation to live in, and based on environmentally healthy. And everything, I didn't read everything that they take into account or what that means. I guess it would probably mean there's not a huge chemical plant in the county or something like that. But out of the 500 counties, our county was the highest rated in the state of Georgia. 6 counties made it out of the 159 counties in Georgia. 6 of them made it in the top 500 out of the country. So Forsyth County was 54, and that was good to see. I don't think it would have gotten that grade back during the gold rush, and between that and the Civil War period, before they outlawed the use of water cannons. And that is, I have seen areas where there's a hillside, and you can spot them. If you know what they look like, you can spot them, where they're just side of what would be a hill. It's just washed out, where they use hydraulic water cannons. And it was amazing how early in our history the country recognized the environmental damage that washing out hillsides and running all that mud through sluices to get the gold, how damaging that is, and all that silted water going on downstream. But it's kind of neat to see it left over environmentally, and what it has done. So anyway, let's get to the comments. Now, first, also, let me read what the trivia questions were. So, trivia questions were, what unusual additional element is found in melanite? And if you remember melanite, that is the garnet that is black, which is about as, oftentimes as rare, really, as garnet that is clear white, which they call leucogarnet. It actually kind of belongs to the Grosser family, but it's really strange. But it's, something you just really don't see. I have sold some leucogarnet here. I had a huge parcel I had cut of wonderful yellow hessonites. And out of that parcel, I did go through and I picked out all the white, I tumbled them, and all the white clear garnets. And, I didn't even think about it. I should have fasted one, but they would have cut maybe half-carat stone, something like that. But it still would have been interesting, being my birthstone, to have that, but I didn't do it. But I have sold those leucogarnets. I don't think I have any more, except maybe a couple to say that I have a couple clear ones for my collection left. All right, so that was question number 1. The answer was titanium. Titanium, not found in the other garnet families, the groups of the pyrrole spites, which has pyroalmandine and spessartine in them. And the common element of those three is aluminum. And then you have the ugrandites, where you have your verivite, grossular, and andradite garnet, where the common element in the three of those is calcium. So titanium isn't one present in any of the other garnet families. It is, though, in melanite, the black garnet. So really, really quite unusual, and also where it's from, Mali. It's found in other places, but the Mali ones, they have and can be found, as that specimen saw, against a red matrix background, and I thought that was a great contrast. Looked pretty cool. Question number 2 is, what is another name for white asbestos? And white asbestos accounts for about 95% of asbestos that is used in, production, commercial uses, industrial uses, and whatnot. And the answer to that is chrysotile. And I showed you an example of it. If you missed last week's show or have new to this show, make sure you check out the past show, because I showed you where it just peels off, and you could see easily, I see it actually right here, that's why my eye's going over here. You could see easily how the horsetail inclusion in the demantoid androdites from the Urals in Russia, how it could easily be in the form of a horse's tail, and exactly how it looks in the fibrous form like that. So that probably helped a lot of you understand how that can happen if the talc or chrysotile is present geologically, and how, as far as inclusion goes, how that could appear, and then if cut properly to where that horsetail inclusion, like I said, it's the only inclusion I know that people want in their garnet. And in many cases, it does add value to a garnet, and you wouldn't think it would, but it's certainly definitive for origin as being Russian, and it is pretty neat to see under magnification. Okay, so those were the questions. I can put that away. Now we get to the comments and answers. First we have, and of course I read them in the order of that you have answered them. So we start off with Miss Ursula. Shawn, hello, and best wishes to you, Miss Raven, and as well as your entire family. Maybe we should have you all wrapped in the same material that our orders are being shipped in to keep you safe. That's great, Miss Ursula. That's funny. Especially since we all know how you get your orders. And I was, after I was parking and dropped off my items, I was walking back from my vehicle, and we have an outside deck that you can get fresh air in on an upper floor. And Andy, who is the head of the shipping department, was up there, and he yelled down at me, and I commented about how all of you, all your kind comments regarding how you receive your items that have been shipped. And, he's so humble, he takes none of the credit. He goes, of course, he gives all the credit to his actual people that do the wrapping, and I have gone in there, thank him. I don't do it very often because it's kind of like I just don't bother other departments, like accounting. You never bother accounting, and not if you want your check. So, I just know that since he's kind of taken over that things have gone really well in that department. So I said about today's show, I said, because of all the great compliments and the great job your team has done, I am going to be offering some items that are going to challenge them once again. Wait till you see them. All right. Miss Ursula goes on to say, your moly-melanite specimen contains titanium and calcium plus iron, unlike melanite, which is nickel-based. Melanite spelled as in melon. There is 2 melanites, and they sound very similar to each other, but it's a different mineral altogether. It was amazing to see how easily you could extricate the white asbestos to discuss the horsetail inclusions found in andradite or demantoid garnets, which is also named chrysotile. I've always commented about how Miss Ursula answers the trivia questions as a sentence or as a paragraph. And she did it once again quite cleverly. During your podcast today, you should have unlimited funds available to shop till you drop. OMG. You had given us indications you would consider selling one of your favorite rings previously. We can only hope the new owner will wear it with much pride and joy as you did. Shawn, be well and stay safe. Sincerely, Miss Ursula. That, if I wanted to go there and then I wouldn't be able to breathe, but that could bring a true tear to me because I did love that ring. And I didn't know when I would have to give it up or offer it, but it was always something I had said even prior to my Mo money and then the Ravens' unfortunate incident as well. So I feel like I waited till the right time. And no one has commented that they had gotten the ring. It was certainly an amazing value. It's certainly one of a kind. And you can download also said there's 2 episodes of the How It's Done series that cover me making that ring and setting it. I'm not sure what all is there, but that's an extra bonus to, how often would you ever get to have video of a personal ring being made that you would end up with. It's signed also with my, with my stamp that I put in, I engrave it in. And so yeah, it's a great piece. That clear and blue sapphire cabochon is like no other. And I think, let's see, I got that I don't know, when I was in Thailand decades ago. I don't want to figure the number right now. It's a long time. There you go, I try to figure. I think it was like 30 years ago or so. So it waited a long time for me to make the piece, but isn't that neat? I waited and waited until the perfect moment when I could use it as a piece that I could make as part of the How It's Done series and a video of it. And I think it was just a perfect combination of a cabochon center. And of course, I love cabochons, my ruby's cabochon. This though, since I don't have my other ring now, this is my estate antique red spessartine garnet in rose gold, and I absolutely love that. But I didn't make that ring. Okay, so we have Miss Cindy. She says, "Hello, Rock family. Shawn, I am amongst all of the family wishing a speedy recovery for Raven. You two have had a very tough and rough 2 weeks. I hope the next week brings you both healing and better health. Gentle hugs for both of you." And she put it in those funny parentheses letters. I had never seen that done before, but it's very cute how she wrote hugs. And I appreciate that, Miss Cindy. Glad you had some memories made while at your family reunion. The show was wonderful and the specimens awesome. Trivia, titanium and chrysotile. Till next week, take care of yourself. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Next we have Mr. Anthony. He says, "Hello all, great show. Wow, man, that is some scary stuff you and the Raven endured. I'm so relieved things are on the upswing. You are fortunate to have a friend like Asif. My wife went through a bout with pneumonia some years back. No picnic and sure needed some spiritual support. It did come in a different form. The ring. You're doing it. I just wish I was the one to get it. I love that ring." And of course, Anthony's a gem cutter and also makes jewelry. And remember, of course, he made that cool pendant for me as well with the owl and the Sphalerite eyes. So yeah, so when he says that someone like that loves the ring, that's meaningful. I love that ring too. I just can't right now and hope someone in the family gets it. Since getting some of the Japanese andradite garnets you have been offering, I have also started collecting andradites from other locales. The melanite andradite will be a nice addition, also being the black variety containing titanium. Ah, that's where it went now. White asbestos, also known as crystaltile. Please omit because of that cool 300 million year old fern specimen. I have nothing like it. Thank you. So he opted out of, so it even raised the chances for everyone else opting out, even though he got both of the answers correct. And that's what I mean by like, you can focus collecting very specific type of minerals. You know, I had two big collections, garnets, because the family was so large, and it was my birthstone, and the other was made in the USA, specimens from the United States. And those were the two big, larger, very, very large subjects or areas that I focused on. The Amethyst Sphere. I don't really know if you remember, I rediscovered one similar that I have in my collection that was kind of hidden. I love it when you find that kind of hidden specimen. That happened to me this past week. You know what I kind of found? I was doing a job for Sam on a piece he sold, a slide bracelet, and it was missing a tiny little turquoise. So I could either replace the other 3 turquoises with emeralds to complete the piece, or I could find a little tiny turquoise, which I knew I had. Yep. I didn't know where they were, but unbeknownst to me, the Raven did. She had put up my collection of turquoise. Yeah, that's what I found. So you might be seeing some turquoise here before long. She loves turquoise. And I didn't know that little parcel of replacement stones. It really shouldn't have been in there, but she must have put it in there. As long as she knew where it was, saved me a lot of time of looking. And once I had it, it was a 5-minute job to fix it. So, yeah, I found I found turquoise. So I know that feeling about finding something cool. Yeah, so I rediscovered one similar I have in my collection that was kind of hidden. Same size, but yours much better in color. All the inclusions which you helped me figure what was what. Yeah, that was neat because that sphere with the crystals of amethyst in it did have caucosinite, goethite, hematite, and most likely rutile in there somewhere if you hunt for it, and probably another, and with the calcites on top of it. It was really, really cool. So yes, I remember you saying that, Mr. Anthony, about that you had found that, and I'm glad that that one helped you figure out what all the little inclusions in yours was. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn says, hi, Professor, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Wow, it's wonderful to hear that Raven is getting better. Double pneumonia is no joke. It's probably prudent for her to get the newest pneumonia vaccine, if they haven't given it to her already. And keep a pulse oximeter around the house. It's the little black clothespin-like gizmo that they put on your fingertip, and it shows your pulse rate and blood oxygen concentration in real time. Yes, I know exactly the one. I had it. You know, when I go to my back doctor, they do that regularly, check my oxygen. About $40 at any chain drugstore. It helps to track your progress. Most people have 99 and 96% readings. Readings approaching 90% are a signal to call your doctor fast. Hers dropped into the mid-80s, and that's why they absolutely panicked and put her into the ICU. And then it was swinging wildly up and down. And it was really tough. And when they, said and mentioned, the intubating her, putting the tube in her, the ventilator, it's like, oh, please no. And it was a little more prayer to it than that. But she didn't. She was able to in the ICU with the higher oxygen concentrations and focusing on what the exact issue was. Yeah, she's tough. In 2007, I went to my doctor feeling weak and only able to breathe shallowly. He diagnosed bronchitis till he put the gizmo on my finger, saw 88%, and cordially invited me to spend the weekend in the hospital with pneumonia. Some very famous people have been lost to untreated pneumonia, like Muppets creator Doug Henson. I didn't know that. Take time to heal, Miss Raven, and check your progress. The 0.2% numbers don't lie. Thanks for another jam-packed show. I ran to the phone with the correct item number and purchased the pink rhodochrosite. It was still there. Yippee! Yeah, that did work out well and for you. It was like, see, it was like because the wrong number, it was almost saved for you because no one else could have gotten it because of the mix-up in numbers. And so it was like the universe was saying that one is for you. And that's great because, you know, you really want it. It took the passion and the desire and the will of wanting it that set everything else in motion, I think. Just a thought there. Gently, I know you, but COVID brain made your mouth say, birefringence. Well, what's wrong with that? Birefringence, right? Okay. I'm sure the term you wanted to convey was, oh, I see. So I'm going to have to read this real slow. You know, birefringence. You see where I'm getting at? Okay? I'm a Southern boy. I mean, you know, that's what we do with our R's. We don't say them. Then she goes on to say, it's just microline/microcline all over. I always want the professor to be right. Are we still friends? Of course we are, because I said it right. Okay, so I actually went to, you know, the pronunciation on the internet to hear how it's said in another language called English. They should have a pronunciation translator from Southern English to Brooklyn English, okay? That would be a big swing in difference in I think a lot of pronunciations. But you know what? That's the Southern language is actually, it's a lazy language that we do, you know? Like some words are the same, like, you know, you better get in here or your mama gonna holler at you. Or it's like, we live up the road a piece off Yellow Creek in a holler. Same word. Whether you get holler at by your mom or whether you live in a holler, that's it. So, you know, of course, being hollow, that's what they call a, it's kind of like, if you're not familiar, don't live in the mountains, which of course I lived in for decades. My son was born in the mountains and all. Hollow is an area off of a mountainside that loops back into the mountain and is like a slot canyon out west or something. You know, it's a hollow. Don't know how to describe it other than that. And then of course you know, so we drop off a lot of the last words. Now one of my favorites is, you know, Mama's going to take a switch to you. You're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. I don't think I need to go any further in explaining that one. You know, you could say you're in big trouble, but that's not how we do it down here. Yeah. So, and if I'm amongst my fellow rural Appalachian neighbors, I really drop into a Southern brogue because, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So I have, over the many years, cleaned up my pronunciation or made a point to. Now, one thing I am guilty of is sometimes I'll get to speaking too fast, and birefringence becomes birefringence. But you are absolutely right. As always there, Miss Barbara, that I should make sure I pronounce that right. I mean, how many times I have spelled that word and I've seen it on all my refractometers, and I even polished the little hemispheres for gemologists and for the network here so many times when they get scratched up unusually. So of course, right on the refractometers is a spelling, and you know, I can see it in my head a million times. But that's one word that I need to slow down. So, yes, the difference between the high and the low refractometer readings, which you rotate your stone to get the high and low, is a great way to determine what a stone is. Not just the refractometer reading, that's the first reading, but when it's doubly refractive, the difference between the high and low, that's the birefringence, birefringence of the stone, and it's listed as the difference between the high and low. So, yeah, thank you for making sure that and we're always going to be friends, that I did pronounce that right instead of the Southern method of pronunciation. There was an item in the current issue of Mineralogical Record that alluded to the quality of Japanese rainbow andradite. Thanks for raiding the vault and sharing so many with us. I am glad you mentioned that, again, because I can say it a million times, but until a lot of people, and I don't think you, Miss Barbara, needed confirmation elsewhere, but it's always really neat when you guys comment about and confirm what I have said about a particular stone or mineral or crystal. And having not read the article, I can pretty well, from my current knowledge, even after having brain fog from long hauler COVID, that about what it said, because I know that from the entire world's amount of andradite that happens to have a play of color, the coast mine, the Japanese ones, are a league of their own. There's not even a close second place for the amazing brilliance and color to those stones. So I am so glad that all of you appreciate me having opened the vault, as she says. And now with things, there might be, yeah, you know what? I'm glad to see that not a single one didn't sell. Not a single one. So all of them sold. And that was wise to see. And a lot of you got multiples of them, and that's fine. You haven't gotten to the bottom of the vault yet, and we're just really kind of now getting to some of the vault items you're going to see. And there'll probably be another batch available of those garnets. So just keep waiting and seeing. If I were all of you, I would get as many as you can as to what when I offer them, because as long as you share and allow others to get a chance, all you have to do is go to the internet and try to find them for sale, and you will quickly realize the difference between what I have offered and the value and the price that I've offered them at. I mean, even though I know that I could sell them for a lot more, I don't. So I didn't do too well in my 2 retail jewelry stores. It was just because. It was just like, to take that kind of profit on them. I was very wise when I got them. I knew what I had, and I hung on to them. And, I'm making money at what I'm offering at. Not as much money as I could, of course, because I could put them in another venue or something like that, or on the internet. But that's what family is about. That's what family's about. And if you all just keep supporting me at the level, or even step it up a little when you see some beautiful things here, then it just, it just encourages me to keep offering the items at the prices I've had. Love the Sphalerite crystal lesson. Cool info. Now I know the difference. As to the trivia, titanium is the additional element in melanite. Another name for white asbestos is crystal. Here's hoping you have an uneventful rest of your summer. Boy, that would be nice. Unfortunately, I think we're in a situation that we're going to be having to move. And that's okay. I'm just having to go with the flow of the universe right now, because I have really no choice. I'm not going to fight it. But But what that is actually going to mean is that every place a cool mineral or rock is that I have not seen or is hidden will be located. And that comes about back to the turquoise. I had no idea that she had gathered up the turquoise and put it in one spot, and I didn't even think about it. And all of a sudden, she brings out this tray with all these turquoise in all these compartments. And I just looked at her and shook my head. I was just glad she had it and found it, you know? Peggy from South Carolina. She says, dear, listen to me going to that, because it was South Carolina, Southern state. So I just instantly, Southern state, Southern Brogue, South Carolina. I mean, it's our neighbor. Now, if you want to hear me put my Alabama accent on, whoa, that's really. Anyway, Peggy, and there's a difference. I can actually, because I actually lived also, and remember, I graduated high school in East Tennessee, in the hills there. So I had someone on the phone the other day, and it was one of those situations they can't tell you, or they're not supposed to tell you anything about where they live or anything. It was someone working with my mortgage company, and I was able to say, "Are you from, or right now in East Tennessee?" And she had to say, "How do you know that?" And so I told her where I lived, and I said, not even East Tennessee. I said, "You sound like you're in East Tennessee, south of Knoxville." And that really blew her away. Enough for her to say that she was from the same city that I graduated high school in. I only spent 1 year there and only got out at 10:30 in the morning to go work at a jewelry store every day. And that was Cleveland, Tennessee. And so I actually got her down right to the area, as opposed to the Tri-Cities area of Tennessee, which is absolutely beautiful, north of Knoxville, which is, Johnson City and Bristol, which is great because Bristol is where right down Main Street in Bristol, Tennessee, on one side is Virginia, and on the other side is Tennessee. So right on Main Street, it's split one side of the street or the other, and that's another neat town. Different little, all the little different accents from around the country. It's kind of neat. And Miss Barbara in Brooklyn, boy, I'd like to hear some of that. I might have to have that translated myself. Okay, so Peggy goes on to say, "Dear Raven, Shawn, the Gem crew, and all the rock hounds, I am so sorry to hear of Raven's illness. I so hope she recovers quickly. I miss her so much when she is not with you during your show. It really says a lot on how you feel about us when you leave her to come in to do a show for us. Honestly, I look for your show every week and miss it when you can't come in. However, we love you so much that we can understand when life steps in and says, stop, you have other things that are more important at this moment." Yeah, and I'm really glad that I have Asif to understand and work with me so that we do have a show for you. And so many times there wouldn't have been if we weren't able to move it to Monday. So when the show comes out on Tuesday instead of Monday, you know that we will have shot the show just the very day before, and then there's some kind of issue if I couldn't have done it Thursday. And that's the pattern, and as opposed to no show at all. So, and when I read this and hear all of you just how much you look forward to the show, well, it's also how much I look forward to doing the show, and it's a two-way street. So I get that energy back from you, and of course, yeah. Did I already tell you my brain may not be working? Raven this morning, she said, "I can't wait till I get back to work. I just can't wait." Yeah, I think I might have already told you that, but it's just like, so it's like, girl, just cool your jets. You just been in the hospital, almost died. But, whatever motivates her to be well, to get in here, I'm all for that. And of course, I share the comments with her, and what you said about her as well, being with me in the show, because I've already had a comment about her like that, because she helps me set up and do all that, and then she, literally right next door goes to Sam's office and then comes back and picks my show up. But just because she's in the building doesn't mean that she's with me next to my show. I need her there to fill in the words when I'm grasping for them. Yeah, let me tell you. I can tell you all, because you guys are family. There's been, with my brain fog, many times where she'll hear me pause and know I'm searching for a word. That's when she's following the show and listening to it as opposed to doing something else. And she'll whisper the word that I'm searching for, and then it's like I come out with it. And now I don't have my helper to do that. Last week you talked about etching, and it made me think that we truly live on a molten ball circling another molten ball. You also mentioned how gold in nugget is almost always found with quartz. I would love to see if you have a nice budget-friendly gold in quartz pieces to sell. Okay, so let me talk to you. So you're absolutely correct about the molten ball thing, and and the center of our Earth and the core of our Earth, and that is actually what creates the magnetic North Pole and the South Pole, and the magnetic points that are around our Earth. And there's a movie, I forget, maybe it's called The Core, and it talks about if the inside of the core of the Earth quit spinning, that it would be an issue, and that's all true. In it also, the machine breaks into a huge geode pocket. Of course, this isn't necessarily reality, but who knows what's really down in the Earth, right? And huge amethyst crystals. So that's one of Raven's favorite shows. I think a lot has to do with hitting that pocket. She loves amethyst. So we have some great amethyst. If I can only get her to release some of the items, then you're going to see some cool amethyst pieces. Okay, so then let's see, trivia. So Miss Peggy gets melanite, titanium right, and the asbestos crystal right. Please give Raven my love. Stay inside, out of the heat, find your joy. Miss Peggy, absolutely. Certainly need to find it when it gets cooled off. Cooled off meaning not temperature outside. Cooled off meaning when my joy within me gets tamped down. And again, that goes back to a conversation that Asif gave me. He actually called me when I first found out, and I just cried to him. And he, with the words he said, were very enlightening on all those issues. So, yeah, I won't forget that conversation. Miss Elisa says, hello, Professor Shawn, GSN crew, and Rockhounds. I'm so sorry to hear that the lovely Raven had such a long stay in the hospital in the ICU. That is very scary. I'll continue to pray for y'all, and I'm so glad that she is doing better. Thank you so much for the Japanese androdite garnets. Okay, so remember, Miss Elisa is the one that won the 3-piece androdite garnet. There was like 7 carat total weight, but I ended up not selling it because it fell into 3 pieces somehow. And I spent a minute trying to put it together one time before I sent it, because I wanted to make sure that those 3 pieces went together. And then I actually wasn't able to do it as quickly as I wanted, so I just stopped and I said, well, I'll let one of all of you, whoever the winner is, do it. So let's see how she did. Okay, so she goes, thank you so much for the Japanese androdite garnets. They arrived, and I solved the puzzle in just a few minutes. Well, thanks. That really makes me feel good. That was fun. That was so fun. I did use a toothpick to add the tiniest amount of epoxy to keep it in place, and now it looks stunning, displayed on my zeolite. That's the way to do it. I love it. That's fantastic. And that little bit of epoxy will hold it in place, and you don't have to tell anybody about it. And I bet it does look stunning, because it was one of the larger crystals of all the ones that I had. And the color of each piece had a lot of beautiful color to it. So clever you, Miss Elisa, to do it in a few minutes. Really makes me feel smart there. Don't take away my professor title, though. Thank you for coming to make yet another wonderful show. We are also thankful every week you're able to make a show and only pray for the best and understand when you don't. I was able to grab some goodies this week. The tangerine quartz, the morganite, and the 60 carat triplite. Good job. I even remember the price I put on the triplite. Only $28 for that. You could go to a show and not even find a piece of triplite. And if you did, and something like that in that quality, no telling what they would truly be asking for it. So, you know, $28 for AAA, something you wouldn't even find. What a buy. And the Morganite, I am glad to see you realized how cool that Morganite piece was. Natural color, the expensive color too. That pink with a hint of purple to it, or lavender, whatever you gals call those other colors. Beautiful, beautiful. My answers to this week's questions are titanium and crystal. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, Miss Elisa. Okay, so that's it. So it was quick. It was easy. We drew the name, and this week the winner is Miss Cindy. Congratulations. Let's show Miss Cindy behind door number 1 what she has won. Look at this. Okay, so this is something cool. You know what? You don't even see these kind of pearls like when you used to. You used to see them everywhere. And it's funny, not very much in the market anymore. And this is free, and it has a 14 karat gold catch. It's double strand. You could always restring them. Or remember, you can take these. How did Dave know I was needing a close-up? That's working together for many years. So you can twist these too, and you know, make a bigger, thicker one strand if you want. And Miss Elisa, you're clever, I think, so you could probably even restring these if you want. So there's an easy to do catch, and 16 inches. You can always do something at the end to lengthen it if you need more, but just another fun item to play with and accessorize with. Also, remember, when it's done like it is, you can wrap this around your wrist and create a bracelet out of it as well. Okay, let me tuck that away. I've got some great stuff coming. Be right back. Okay, now, you know, if I have something as cool as this, that you know I'm getting some really neat stuff. Ocean Jasper. When have you ever seen me offer anything in Ocean Jasper? Doesn't mean I don't have it. Just means that I haven't shared any of it. All right, yeah. So right there, let's have that shot on the close-up. That's the main thing I want to show you about this is, wow, look at this pocket. And this is why it stood out from all the others and why we kept this one and offered the other hearts. Now, there's several things to show you, but this was the main, look at that pocket of nothing but quartz crystals going all the way through, coming out the backside. Look at that. That is what sets this apart. Now, not only that, but when is the last time you see natural blue? You know, they say Jasper. Jasper, I don't know. That's an overused term for many things. It could be just a agate. But as we go and show you, again, here, look at that. Here, look at that. See, you have the colors of blue all over this piece. And when you get the blue surrounding the green in a radial formation like that, how gorgeous is that? You have pockets of quartz up here as well. And this is an outstanding, outstanding piece of ocean jasper. It is only found in one place in the world, and that's Madagascar. And it's so recognizable when you see a piece of ocean jasper. Not the colors can vary wildly, but it is the patterns that give it away as, to me, ocean jasper for what it is. Look at this piece. Now, when you see these like on different stands, it doesn't mean that they come with the stand. You can easily get a stand or do whatever you want with it. Like look at the green down in there. And you could clean that out better with one of the little brushes that you use for dental flossing that they make. I don't know if I had showed you. I meant to bring one in one time and show you those. And that could get actually back in there and twist it around, and you can clean that up some more. But wow, what an example. Look at this, heart shape, exactly. So, okay, price on this. If you see these in a regular like red jasper or something, I mean, I don't know, they might be $12 or $15 or something. A piece like this stands out so much more valuable. It's only $44, only $44, and that is, you know, really an excellent value. When you see the blue and green colors like that, extremely desirable in ocean jasper versus other more common ones, and those radial formations are desirable. The quartz crystal pockets that large are very desirable. So, $44, excellent value, excellent value. All right, now, we'll just let that sit there for a minute. I wanted to address, Peggy mentioned about gold in quartz. So now, when you see nuggets that are obviously rounded and have gone down the stream, sometimes they'll have little tiny pockets of quartz in them, but most likely or originally, gold is often associated with quartz and forces its way into the open areas in the quartz. Now, that's one way you find it. The other way gold is found is as a byproduct of mining other minerals. And it'll be in these concentrations that are not visible. It could be freely in them. And so if you're mining for copper, mining for silver, mining for other minerals, many other minerals, there's almost always a little bit of gold, and they are able to extract it. So, but when you hit a main gold vein, especially like the veins where I live in the original discovery, they were almost always running in quartz. And so the wire gold you see, these beautiful crystalline gold specimens you see, gold is so malleable at its purest level, like you find it, 90 to 100%, 85% in the Alaska material, that when you find these crystals, they're not recoverable that way. They are usually crystallized within quartz, and that is when they use the hydrofluoric acid to dissolve the quartz away to be able to see the beautiful crystal formations that have been protected by the quartz. So gold isn't always found with quartz, but when you see the crystallized gold specimens, many of them have been protected by quartz having formed around the crystal that grew, and then the quartz has to be dissolved away. Do not ever get your hands on hydrofluoric acid. I'm just telling you, just don't do it. It's not worth it. So, yeah. Now, back to if I've ever had any specimens. Yes, I have. I've sold every one of them. I've even had an entire line of jewelry in the live show, and some of you might remember that, where I offered incredible, incredible jewelry with cabochon gold in quartz pieces and all kinds, men's, ladies, of things like that. Not only that, but I had specimens directly coming from mines, some of them Australian, others from the 16-to-1 mine, most 16-to-1 mine in California, that were stunning. Some of them were over $20,000, and it was just incredible museum quality items. I never really sold any of those really, really big, beautiful ones. You can do a method to determine exactly what the gold weight is, but that's for another day and discussion as far as specific gravity and determining the weight of the gold that is actually in quartz. But yeah, I've had them. I don't really have any right now, but I may be offering up a little bit more Georgia gold nuggets as time goes on. Not any, well, maybe some that I have found. I have found some gold, but they're not really nuggets. But I do have, well, you just have to wait and see. So this specimen, incredible. Okay, now I have so many really neat things. I don't know where to start, but let's go to this one. This is item number 1067322. 1067322. And over all this time, you have not seen many carvings. That heart is a carving. And check this out. We love dragons. We love dragons. And dragons, of course, until medieval Europe came into play and put wings on the dragon, the original dragons, they were considered protectorates of the empress and emperor. They were good. It was, I don't know what history, medieval history or something, attached a bad omen to dragons, but they're not. The original dragon didn't have wings. It was like this one, and depending on the number of toes that they had was what level of dragon they were. I think a 5-toed dragon was what protected the empress and emperor. Of course, that's in mythology and whatnot. But you would see them pictured, and if you count the toes, it tells you what level of dragon that they are. So this one is really, really beautiful. It is an iris quartz piece, and you're going to see that in just a moment as I rotate this around. Look at that. Look at that play of color. Now, inclusions in the quartz have to be just right for you to get that play of color. And that kind of color looks like, wow, looks like opal. It really, really does. Look at the 3 dimensions of color, and just really, really rich. Can we have that shot? Now, we happen to have both cameras set up, so you guys, yeah, the one that you often like for close-ups and often for color detail, and you can really see the depth of the color, and that adds value. Look at that. Look at how big it is. Look at all those colors. That is amazing. Yeah, I took this one. It was actually hidden away in the guest bedroom on a lower shelf of a end night table. We couldn't see it anyway, but I think she was actually hiding it. That's okay. That's okay. She accepts what's going on. Now, you can see the dragon wrapped around. You can count his toes. He's a 4-toed dragon, so he doesn't get to protect the emperor and empress. Beautiful, beautiful piece of Brazilian quartz. And you can look at that. There's another iris there, which I hadn't actually seen before, because irises, you just have to turn them the right way. Iris, the name Iris, okay, so that was the goddess of the rainbow, was named Iris. That's where that comes from. And then look at the face. You have a well-defined face. Really, really pretty. So this way is, remember, so to find the iris, which you would find, but you turn it, look at that. That's just so beautifully visible and large, and it has the in color. You can have irises thinking, maybe only just yellow. This one has every color. It goes through the entire spectrum of the rainbow in its color, which isn't always the case. Look at how big that is, too. Okay, so enough about that. How much is it? That's what you're wanting to know. Price is only $138. $138. That is a great opportunity if you want something really cool and neat, unusual, and that's a wow piece. Now, yeah, you guys are going to love it. I'll have to pause here in a minute because these kind of items I just kind of need to put up well to start with. Okay, the next item is 1067522. 1067522. Check this out. Okay, so let me do this. This stands on its own. Now, hopefully on this board, I'm not going to mess up Dave's board because he actually is the one that actually makes these, so I don't want to scratch it up or anything. But this, yep, sits on its own. Okay, now, Dave's great about killing the light when we need to. Look at this. Okay, you see this little string I have here, right here? This, you guys are going to love this, and this is why I loved it. All right, so I have this set up, so all you have to do is pull this string, and look at the light come on. Look at the light. So this is going to make a great night light. Thank you, sir. And all you have to do, okay, look at the shape. Now, all you have to do to turn it on and off is pull on that string. Isn't that cool? I think that is the coolest thing. Well, I have a thing about light bulbs and batteries. So I collect, flashlights. So I collect anything that illuminates. And you've seen me have the little disc, which I'll get some more and I'll offer them for sale or something to you. But this, wait till you see what actually is the light fixture in this. But that's not what's so important. What's important is this piece. Now, if you remember a while back, it was smaller, but I offered one from the same locality, a Reynolds County quartz piece, and it was totally hollowed out. Now, what happens is often calcite will grow a crystal or a very soft mineral, and then quartz will grow and form around it. Then later, talking about etching and dissolving, something like calcite is easily dissolved later, and it's dissolved out. So you're left with a hollow formation. This one is a taller formation. It's not as hollow, but it does have that neat hollow compartment. And this is nothing but pretty much all pure quartz. So let me show you. All right, so here's the hollow part to it, which is mostly this entire part. And oftentimes you can see a shape of a crystal that it formed around. Now, you can see first there was a layer of, most likely, now I didn't take this in the closet and test it, but oftentimes this is chalcedony. It may very well be fluorescent. Yeah, I gotta leave a few things of interest for you guys to discover on your own. I don't have all the fun in discovery and tell you. So this would be one I'd go to the closet on, and because oftentimes if it's chalcedony, this will be a beautiful bright yellowish color tone. But you can see it actually goes quite a ways up in there. Now, this is double-sided. Look at that. So the light will completely, because it goes up there, will completely illuminate this portion of the piece. And also, if you look at this as a whole, you'll see different animals, you know, which we tend to do anyway around here, be able to find animal shapes in the mineral specimens. This is large. All right, let me show you the neat light, which, of course, but look at that. Isn't that neat? That is, to me, I think, a little light bulb like that. That is, look at that. Oh, I hate giving it up. But this piece needed illumination, I think, as part of its sale. So with it, you get this. Now, you don't have to use it with this. Of course, you might find something else at home. Look at that, that you have that would be really neat to illuminate. But it's just so easy to do by just pulling on this. So I know that you'll have fun and look at that, figure it out how to do that. And look at that, even with all the lights on, that is bright. Wow. Oh, no, I could almost say don't buy it. But yeah, you can see why that's one of special piece. Okay, price on this guy, another wonderful value for you with everything, only $128. $128. The other one, I think, was $118. So, you know, I don't know how to price them. Real value, it's worth a lot more. Shawn value, it's a bargain, and you get one of the coolest lights that I bet no one else has. Okay, so let me pause for a moment, tuck away a couple things, and I'll be right back. All right, look at this. Again, something really special. Now, I am going to tell you a story in a minute. And you know me, you're going to get the truth, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it certainly lessens. Okay, so I have saved this piece, and I have it in, the GIA has a really fancy, really expensive 3-light mode, kind of like, it's not totally enclosed cabinet, but it is for grading diamonds where you can use natural light, and it is also for testing and looking for fluorescence in, you know, diamonds and et cetera. And so, you know, me, I get, it came in through, let's see, my buying office, which I'm not directly part of anymore, but it allowed me to get a lot of estate on rocks and minerals because no one else bought those kind of things. So people would send all the other pawn shops that would come in. They'd say, "Oh, do you know anybody that I inherited, or my grandfather had rocks and minerals?" And they would send those people to us, and that's how I wound up with this huge eclectic array of different things. So also came equipment. So this super expensive thing that I would have never paid the retail price for, a light box came in, and anyway, it allowed me to have and create right there in the bedroom. So sometimes our mood light or night light is the fluorescent, because it plugs in, it's not battery operated, plugs in, and so all my fluorescent smaller pieces are in there, and it's just tremendous to see that, and with the black light on them is beautiful enough. Now, I say that because this has the most amazing fluorescence of orange, just stunning, stunning orange throughout the entire piece. Orange maybe with a little shade of pink. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, this is a high quality piece of faceting rough. It's also a crystal. Okay, now, you can see how clean the areas are in this. This would cut some very large stones. Now, I have it as just spodumene. I could have put what so many spodumines are, and oftentimes now when you see those intense colors of spodumene, they are treated, and they treat them to become kunzites. Now, triphane is another word given to spodumene. To me, I use it for yellow tone pieces. This is so clean and clear white that it is unusual in its own right to not have any color. But let me show you. Because when I first saw this, I thought, okay, with that kind of cleavage, that looks like a piece of white topaz. And I would have, by way of the crystallography of it, could easily have determined it to be so. But if I turn it on its end, boom, there is your kunzite. And that's what's amazing about kunzite, is it is so dichroic for color. In other words, different color in different crystal axes of it. Look at that. You can't see any bit of pink in that whatsoever. But turn it on its C-axis down lengthwise, you can see a little bit running right there. You can see a little bit running right there. It's along the same lines, that pink through there. So that definitely, of course, wouldn't I love that whole piece to have been a pink topaz natural color. Look at the clarity of that. Look at the clarity of that. This is stunning. I would have loved to have had the time in this piece of rough just to cut a large, clear piece of spodumene. Now, there's a little bit more to the rest of the story. You can see the nice crystal striations there to it. When I first put this in the light box, it sits in front of a window, but it was out of direct sunlight. Maybe it was indirect. This is a warning to everybody. This piece was all pink. Remember, you have heard people say, oh, it's an evening stone, etc. Well, that is because it has this habit of losing its color when exposed to the sun's rays, which also contain ultraviolet rays. So I might have done it to myself, by maybe leaving the black light on too much. I don't know exactly how that happens, but it is a great lesson to all of you. Keep your kunzites out of ultraviolet or the sun's light, direct, indirect. It is truly an evening stone. And I have never seen it so happen so much. I've had a lot of other kunzite over the time, and I had never had it happen to such an extent. I've heard people talk about, oh, you got to keep them out of the sunlight. The same thing kind of goes with morganite, by the way. But morganite, especially the treated morganites, which are almost all those peach color ones that you see anymore, they're stable. They're going to be fine. The problem really rests, and morganite, it doesn't happen like the piece that Elisa got. That piece is completely stable, not going to happen. And it doesn't always happen. This piece happened to prove why oftentimes it is called an evening stone. In other words, you wear it after the sun goes down. Because I'm telling you, you would look at this and it was all pink. And it is, so what's left may have been the portion that maybe didn't get in the sunlight, or was the really true natural color that was much more stable as far as the color goes. So anyway, that was just really what it was a lesson proved to be true. And now I have confirmed it. It was actually all intended. It was a true scientific test on my part, and I intended that to happen in every degree. Price on this, believe it or not, the entire thing, $48. $48. And wow, of course, if it would have been all pink, I would have asked more for it. So, you know, but here's the way I would offer this. Forget, of course, it's beautiful fasting quality. The real cool factor to this is its fluorescence. It has stunning fluorescence, and the fluorescence didn't go anywhere. Now, you know, oftentimes the Kunzite spodumene does have fluorescence. But for this piece, it is, because it's so clear and white, you're not going from pink to orange. You're, if it was all still Kunzite color, you're going from clear to stunning, stunning, beautiful orange. So, Brad, that may be right down your alley. Yep, only $48 on that. Now, while I have your attention, we're talking about something cool. I haven't shown this in a long, long time, but since this room, I'm just going to take a minute because this is just a lesson stone. It's not for sale. This is I talk about chunky gal. So let me just show you. This is, you remember how many times I've been up there, spent a lot of time cracking a lot of rock. All right, so you can see classic chunky gal material, smaragdite here. So, you know, I told you the story. I won't go back through it about them cutting a fire break right over the deposit. You know, this is nothing but what's legal in the National Forest is only, you know, pick and shovel, and that's it, nothing mechanized. But back in the 60s, they allowed mechanization there, and that's when most of the good material was pulled out. Since then, there has been none of that. Everything's by hand. So it is find a rock, crack it, hope to find ruby. So this is exactly how I found this rock, and I hit it. And boy, nature was on my side in a big way, because when I cracked this open, this is what was on the inside. Look at that. And not only one, both. I actually split the crystal, but that's okay. It is stunning and so unique and rare. Look at the size of this, well, call it a pink sapphire, or pinkish purple sapphire, you know. Everything comes out of there usually called ruby. But this is what's unusual. This doesn't have a true ruby color. This is really a sapphire color. Look at this. How far back in there it goes, I'm not real sure. But stunning that it would split. Now, I have sprayed it with some of the, you know, my shiny spray just to give it the wet look so you could actually see the actual color. Look at how that split. I could not have wished for it to occur any better. Now, how would anyone have known inside this rock? That's why I say to you all the time, when I sell these items, I say, okay, there might be other things in the stone. You never know, because I could have stopped right here, because let me show you. There is other material here and here. These are other corundum crystals. They are actually quite prevalent. There was a whole bunch of them I saw. Let's see. Yeah, there's some other crystals you can see coming out here. And all you have to do, yeah, you can even see the little pink color to that, is take a ultraviolet light to it, and even if they're not the ruby color red, they will still glow red. You'll be able to find them all in this if it was for sale. Not to say that it won't be at some point, probably, who knows, before real long, but I just want to show you that it, you know, inside a rock, when I say there could be other things inside, this tells you that, oh, yep, he wasn't kidding. Who would have ever known? Who would have ever known? I could have kept that just like it is, and that's stunning. This is the largest of any type of corundum I've seen in one piece come out of there, including the museum in Franklin that has a lot of the different old chunky gal material. Nothing was that big, and nothing was that color. So this is probably out of all my entire life of trying to prospect and find items, this is probably my greatest find in one rock, was this cracking it and it popping open. You can see there's a neat little crystal right here of some kind as well. So yeah, there we go. Look at that. I have no doubt, because of the wear and erosion all around it, that's corundum. You can even almost see the six sides to it. So yeah, all right. So anyway, just showing you and proving to you that it's all, you never know. You never know. I just got really lucky, hit it broke in the right place, and I even like the way it split like that. All right. Now, next, this is going to take a moment or two to present to you, but it is one of the finest of its kind that I have ever, well, it is the finest of its kind that I probably have had. 106-6922. 106-6922. And I'm going to show you one side of this first. This will come with this stand. All right, look at this. And you can even see one little area reflecting right there. There was not enough room on the label to put all the information on this that I wanted to. And so take notes if you're interested in this so you get all the information. This is iridescent Peruvian sphalerite and Manganoan calcite, which is calcite, a pinkish calcite. And here's the stunning thing. The sphalerites are iridescent. They have an iridescent coating of some sort on them, and we're going to see more of that. So what you're seeing, and then, not all sphalerites do this, but this one does, and I tested it. It is triboluminescent. It is the only piece I've ever offered that I could call. Look at the colors back in that pocket. Look at the dog teeth calcite. Look at the iridescence on the sphalerite crystals. And guess what? Most all those crystals are green. We'll put a light behind them in a minute, and I'm going to show you that. Look at that pocket. It almost looks like there's a blue stone back there, but that is the iridescence. It threw me off. I kept on having to look at it. That's a gorgeous, large, look at that pocket. Look at that pocket. There's other minerals in here that I have not even been able to describe because of it's an ore body, so that you get all kinds of different type of minerals that can be found on these specimens. Now, triboluminescence, all of you are going to be familiar with this. How many times have you gone in the bathroom, or maybe your grandchild or child did, and crunched on a wintergreen lifesaver and saw sparks? That's triboluminescence. Have you ever peeled a Band-Aid off and seen a spark and wondered what it was? That's triboluminescence. It happens from the separation and reunification of static electrical charges, if you're wondering how it happened. And it's excited nitrogen in the case of like the wintergreen tablets. There is scientific answers to these things. The calcites, okay, so that cover, now, to find it and look at it, take one of the sphalerites, maybe more of an iridescent one, and take like the end of tweezers, and just push against the crystal. You don't have to push hard. Do it in the closet in a dark room, and it will spark. It will put off the most beautiful, amazing sparks and colors. It's beautiful to see that, and I did it. This one does it. I don't know, I did it on another sphalerite, and it didn't do it, another specimen. So it may be the iridescent ones doing it more so than others, but this particular mine, this particular location, look at these quartz crystals even. The quartz crystals are stunning. And then they have these formations of calcite over some of them. You can see different calcite growths. Look at the sphalerite crystals. They are some of the best, look at that, best defined sphalerite crystals I have ever seen in a multiple crystal piece like this. Now, this is the bad side. I kid you not. Look at all those little crystals in there. This, yeah, wait. Okay, you can even see, without me putting a flashlight behind them, even see the green color tone, the greenish yellow color tone to those sphalerites. The dogtooth calcites are remarkable. See, there's yellow sphalerite right there, the yellow sphalerite, as we explore this portion of it. And I'm sure, let's see, okay, on this piece, I have found pyrite, sphalerite, quartz, calcite, and without a doubt, I'm sure there's other things as well. Polishing a diamond will create triboluminescence. Okay, now as we come out from the crystal, I'm getting ready to flip this around. Look at this side. There is your pink calcite crystal, Manganoan calcite. Not only does it have the dog teeth calcite, it has the rare pink Manganoan calcite, and if you want to see something beautifully fluorescent, wow. That, it has stunning fluorescence, stunning fluorescence. Let's count them. You have one there, you have another one there, and you have, look at this, over there. Now, as we come in closer to this, so which side do you I don't know, that other side is drop dead gorgeous, but how do you not, look at that shape. How do you not display it? Then look, you even have dog tooth Manganoan calcites. I hadn't even noticed those before. My eyes were so fixated on the big crystal. Ah, there's some pyrite tucked away back there. Look at this. Look at these crystals. This could easily be, I didn't put it on there as museum quality, but it could easily be. Look at all the micro calcite crystals growing. Oh yeah, look at that. I remember seeing that. That was super unusual. Look at that. That, you know what? I first said, oh, that's just part of the sphalerite. That's sphalerite. But it is so unique and unusual, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure that it's not a different mineral. It seems to grow in the same plane, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. It could be another completely different type of mineral. But either way, it's an extra bonus. The iridescence on these are stunning. Look at these quartz crystals. Look at how large they actually are coming off the side. The white calcites on here and the dogtooth, the scalenahedrons are amazing, There's the other calcite hanging out there. And let me get to the other side for a moment, and then I'm going to see if we can't backlight. Oh, let's come around. Look at that. See what I mean? Which side do you want to show? See, you can see the pyrites. So you can see the pyrites up through here. Look at that. Little coating of beautiful pyrites. Oh, look at that. They kind of are surrounding, I see a yellow crystal in there. Some sphalerites. So before we darken the lights, Dave, let's just see if we can find one of the, well, there we go, the very first one. Look at that. You can see the green color tone to the sphalerite. How beautiful is that? I noticed not all of them had green color tone. Some of them were opaque, and I wonder if there's a correlation between the iridescent ones and the green ones. I don't know. No, I think the iridescent ones can be green still. Look at the color green on these. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. You can, yeah. Look at that. That is an extra bonus to be able to have the sphalerites, because mostly they called it blackjack, or then the red ones were ruby jack. For the different colors of sphalerite. And so by far, look at the pink in those calcites. You can see it backlit. To have them possibly be even facet grade quality on some of these, of course, you really wouldn't want to harm the specimen to get to any of them, but it just tells you the quality. Look at those calcites. And looking into that pocket, with the additional lighting like that. And you can look at that. So it seems to me the majority of them actually are green, because I actually wasn't able to completely do this with magnification at home. I just don't have enough arms. I'm not set up. So that's why this is as much joy for me to show it to you this way, because I'm discovering it at the same time. Of course, I'm doing it and then, selling it. Oh, well, that's all right. I've enjoyed this. We have enjoyed this so much. This specimen is one of our primary ones on a safe table that wasn't to be knocked over by poor Raven falling. Look at all the green. Thank you, sir. That's like going in a cavern. I mean, look at that. That is just, oh man. This is one of my favorites. This is look at that. Look how big it is. Cabinet-sized quality. Look at that. You know what? You see that pink? It may be phosphorescent even, depending. You might have to charge it with UV light, or I don't know. In a moment, if it's less pink, but to me, it looks a little more pink. So it could be phosphorescent. In other words, it keeps glowing either its ultraviolet color after you take the light off, which would be an extra bonus and a possibility. So this almost looks like a mouth with teeth in it. Can we go one more spot? Let's go back. Look at that pocket. I can put my finger in there. And you know, the thing about the pockets like that is there's no way anybody has touched them. That's where you can find completely undamaged crystals. And if there's really, really fine hair crystals, look at that, actually looks like it goes all the way through. As Dave takes you with the camera through the different layers of focal points, you can look back in there. And I am sure there are additional minerals to be discovered. So listen, you got to do the triboluminescent thing. You have to see it. And I did it enough times that it's like, yeah, that really is. So, okay, you can see from the distance, the iridescent sphalerite, that's a big unusual plus. The triboluminescence of the sphalerites, you know, the flashes of the sparks when you scratch something against them. That's a plus. The fluorescence of the Manganoan calcites, that's 2 pluses. The dog teeth calcites scattered everywhere, another plus. This is I was trying to see where it might have been attached to its the wall or some base. So it looks like maybe right along here. So if there was to be a bottom to it, that would probably be it. Because I was looking to see which way I wanted to display this, but you know, making sure. Now you can see me handling this. It's very sturdy. In other words, the crystals aren't just going to fall off. I say that and probably knock one off. But so it's going to be up to whomever is the lucky one to get this specimen. It is really, truly one of the most outstanding Peruvian specimens I've ever had. And really, for the Manganoan calcite, is probably the nicest I've ever had. So look at that. It displays real quickly and easily on this stand. I'm going to include this stand, sorry for pushing that over, with it because it works well with it. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so let me see if I missed anything I wanted to share about it. So you have the name of the mine, the Wansala mine, and I've offered many other specimens from that particular mine, but nothing, this is by far the finest one of the bunch. And of course it would be because I haven't sold it yet. I told you there'd be great things coming. This is one of them. And again, the strong orange fluorescence to the calcite, which is everywhere, is a huge also plus to it. A real eye catcher in so many ways and such a desirable piece. Price on this, extremely reasonable for everything that it is, and I'm going to offer this for only $288. Only $288, which, I don't know. It could be 2 times, 3 times that. No telling. Again, with the pluses on it. And it's neat to see in this respect how pink that calcite is against all these others are calcites. But look at how pink that is. That is Manganoan calcite. Calcite created by a slight impurity of manganese. As we know, manganese can create that color range. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Now, that said, that's just part of the fun. Let me go behind me and this is the nicest one of everything of what I'm getting ready to show you, of all the others that we had. This is item 1067722. Now, you have gotten, and I have shown you before, Kona Calcite, but nothing like this one. Nothing like the size of this one and all the other things involved. Now, this is from Utah. This is from the Gold Hill mine. It was closed in 1945. This at the time, it was the largest, how would I describe it? Not necessarily deposit, but the largest quantity. This is during World War, remember, it closed 1945, so just the end of World War II. That was intentional because we were needing all the potential metals as possible. The Gold Hill mine was known as what's called a multiple ore body. In other words, they mined it for many different minerals and many different metals were in that mine. And it was just named Gold Hill. The gold averaged about 4 ounces per ton, which, by the way, is a lot. That's a lot of gold, but it wasn't really mined for gold. It had the largest deposit of arsenic. Now, Kona Calcite is a calcium copper arsenate. So the green that you see does have arsenic, but of course it's tied up as part of a molecule, so it's not like it's a real gar or orpiment or something else that's more dangerous to handle. Of course, always wash your hands of any mineral, even quartz, doesn't matter. It's just, if it's a rock, wash your hands. Now, Kona Calcite got its name from, of course, Greek words. Konos for powder, and calcos, you know that, chalcopyrite for copper. And it was named that because of its many unusual shapes. Sometimes the Kona Calcite was more powdery and, like you see, kind of layered. And of course, Kona Calcite has copper in it as well. So here's the other unusual thing. The mine, and I even have the list, they determined there was 110 different minerals came out of the Gold Hill mine. They exhausted the ores. By 1945, they had mined out the ores on, I think, about 5 different levels. There was a total of about 8,000 feet, so close to 2 miles of tunneling on multiple different levels. And the ore body branched out into multiple little branches. And as usual, the branches start off thick from the main ore body. Just picture it kind of like a tree. And you have the main trunk, the main ore body, and then you have the branches of a tree that come up. Well, same thing in many mines. You have a main ore body, and then it has all these little branches that come off. So they go and chase all those branches until the ore body is exhausted, till the end of it. Some mines, it's many miles worth of ore body. But in this one, there was only about, and 8,000 feet is actually not a lot, but it had the largest deposit of arsenic tied up in the minerals that were there, which was important for many different industrial uses. Now, this is part of the descloisite group. Now, I offered and still have it a stunning descloisite specimen. I just don't think you were familiar with it. Can't believe no one had bought that. But maybe you just need to know a little bit more. Now, on this particular specimen I'm showing you, and we're going to look at it close in a moment, there is garnet, there is pyrite with a question mark, and I'm going to show you why, and there's chrysocolla. Let's take a closer look at it now. This is an amazing piece. Since we have that, let's look right here on the end. Let's go right here. Now, this is, quote, either the only pyrite on the piece, but in this case, this is the most gold-looking pyrite I have ever seen. That was a cool shot. You can see it's actually running in another vein, another ore right there. Now, if it was gold, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. And again, who knows what's on the inside. But just the way this is not crystalline, and it's very, very, it looks exactly like the way if it was actual gold. Plus the color isn't oxidized like an iron sulfide is, which is what pyrite is, and can do. I don't know. I just really wonder about that. And, you know, if it's actually gold, I am going to have sincere regrets. There is a lot of gold, 4 ounces per ton. So there's plenty chance that it could be. But anyway, I just have it in my notes as pyrite, and someone may get a great value here. All right, let's look. Here we go. You see this? Yeah, I'm not even showing you the pretty stuff. We're going to these other items. This is actually garnet. It's a brownish garnet material that is found as part of a lot of the different matrixes, matrix specimens from here. Now, you have calcite. This is calcite. You can usually tell by taking it into the closet, and it will usually fluoresce. But what's easier is just doing a hardness test. Now, right next to the calcite, you'll often have quartz. But let's look while we're over here, right here at the end of, let me get my pointer actually. Let me get one of my nicer pointers. All right, let me show you. Right in here. These little botryoidal formations of another color, chrysocolla. Chrysocolla. Look at that. That is so cool. All right. Your Kona Calcite is mostly this bright green material. When you get into an olive color material on this, it could be a leavenite, which is another mineral plus. There's also mixite, which is often acicular needles, little tiny needle-like formations. And because they're so easily broken, those can be found in the little open pockets in specimens coming from this area. Now, like right here, this is all quartz. Often the brown areas, especially if they reflect any light, would be garnets. Here is your classic Kona Calcite colors like that. But when you stray from that color, that's when into these other colors, that's when you get other minerals, especially if anything blue. Kona Calcite almost always falls into some shade of green. The leavenite on this is going to be olive. They're going to be more of an olive green color. And then you have your chrysocolla type formations. Now, let's look right in this little area right there. Wow, that's really great. Look at that. Look at back in there. Now, that's how you can find your undamaged, like mixite, your acicular needles would be back in pockets like that. And I really didn't look in there, so I left a lot of this to be explored by whoever's lucky enough to get this specimen. I had cut a base on this, so you're going to see that in a minute, and there's a reason for that. Look at this. Look at all these formations. The color to this is outstanding. They doesn't have to be big crystals well defined to be a beautiful specimen. It can be just this layer of Kona Calcite on here, and it makes it stunning. Also, you see like this one, there are some pieces on here that would take very little to remove them, to basically open them up and see what's inside there. And there'd be nothing actually wrong with that. See, like this whole piece would come off with just a little pressure underneath and pop that off. And it'd be interesting because it's back in there when you can find, per like the sapphire that I showed you from Chunky Gal. You never know what is inside the specimen. Did you see that color just coming? See that reflection coming right off of there? Good chance that that could be a garnet. Okay, so now let me show you the base. Here is what I'm talking about. For one, so I cut this. Look at all the open pockets within this. Look at this one. So I put this all right through it. And this is completely within, you would never know it was there. There's an open pocket. That's how you can often find your other minerals, and they're undamaged because no one can get to them over the period of time. You can see in every little vein in quartz, this is quartz body, and this is how gold and all forces and makes its way in. Same thing with other minerals. They make their way into the openings in a quartz ore body, and depending on, sometimes, whatever has formed in them will be dissolved away, and another mineral will form in it. A lot of times you'll get pseudomorphs, one mineral after another, after it's dissolved the other, and then it takes its form. See all that bright shininess? That is most likely a garnet formation. All right, so this piece is out of the batch of Kona Calcite that we bought, the biggest, the tallest, the most impressive. And by the way, Kona Calcite does not form large crystals. It is only found in this type of botryoidal or microcrystalline form like that. And so this is a fantastic representation of so many different other minerals. You can see the different colors, often meaning different minerals. So when you get to studying this, you'll learn a lot more about, when I talk about the mixite, leavenite, chrysocolla, all the other things found with it. And I'm really curious about the pyrite versus the gold on there. It is really an amazing piece. Okay, so let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, and so the mine's been closed. And this kind of specimen wouldn't have come off the tailings because they would have crushed it up. So this is this is one of the oldest pieces I've offered from a closed mine. And you can go and you can actually look up the mine. It is a hill in the middle of just desolate area. And you can see the tailings from it. And of course, the mine has long since been closed. So this is a great opportunity if you want to add to your collection something that you just won't find at shows or anywhere else. Price on this is the other excellent value to it. $88. Only $88 on this one. A stunning look. All right, time to put up some items. I'll be right back. All right, yeah, carvings. We haven't even, like I said, I've only brought in a carving every now and again. Doesn't mean I haven't had them. Check this out. A mama seal with the baby pup. That's what they call them when they're babies. Look at this. And wow, banded agate. Look at that, Brazilian banded agate that it is carved from. One solid piece. And so look how they did that. Look how they worked the quartz. And of course, the carvers totally know how. They look at a piece and they know how they want to carve it to come out the way they want it. So look at how the quartz comes up here, kind of just perfectly aligned with the mother's stomach like that. Really, really clever. And then here is the flipper, a flipper to it. Here's the little pup out of beautiful agate. Look at the quartz here. And then look at the banding of the agate. Now, if the quartz stopped growing at some point, there wasn't enough silica, there would have been an open area here with quartz crystals facing each other. So when you see it like this, the quartz grew together and kept growing together until it created a solid mass. But you can see what would have been crystals like that in here. Look at the back. Okay, so here's the rind to the outside of the agate boulder. And again, walking across the ground, you wouldn't think much about it. You have to get past it. That's what I talk about, like when I mentioned to you about nephrite or jadeite, especially jadeite. It'll form an oxidized rind. That's where you get your colors of jadeite that are the orange colors and the reddish colors, which are extremely rare. And watch out, by the way, when you see orange or red nephrite or jadeite, because so much of it is actually dyed. You can imagine how little bit of rind in the real world that would actually be those colors. But this is, since I don't have a nice piece of that to show you the colored rind, this is a great way to show you. So the agate formed, but the outside is still exposed to the elements, and the elements being other chemicals that can change the color and oxidize it, weathering, etc. And so you can see that until you get past, look at that, the outer rind and into the inside, then you see what's really involved. Okay, so that's just something to watch out for and to keep in mind that well, agate too is, okay, here's the thing. I see dyed agate slabs and stuff, and they're purple, and they're blue, and they're red, all those colors. You know they're all dyed. I hope you do anyway. If you don't, you do now. It just doesn't come in those colors. But it often is very easily dyed. Like most carnelian, I've done it myself. I can heat treat carnelian to take it from an ugly brown color to a much more beautiful reddish orange color in the carnelian, and it's relatively easy to do. It's nice to have natural color carnelian, but that's hard to find, only in older estate pieces and whatnot. It's just something to keep in mind, that in many cases, unless it specifically says natural color, that you're going to get heated carnelian. Okay, now this agate is a, just a beautiful natural color. Give me natural color all day long over any of those other colors. Just a nice, wonderful color. And here's the other thing. To polish it to this level, agate is hard. It's a cryptocrystalline quartz. So, you're talking about hardness of 7, maybe a little harder than that. And in all these little ripples, it takes a while to polish, and then hand polish down in these little areas. I know. So keep that in mind, is the amount of time it takes to do that. Look how that flipper and the way that quartz is. I just love the way I look at and I think about what the carver was thinking in how he placed the material and positioned the carving against the material. Just a really wonderful piece. And I like the way this shows off the banding on the bottom like that. It really shows what they were working with. And also, you can tell and actually figure roughly the complete diameter of the piece of agate from this being the center out towards the edge, and can figure that out. The other interesting thing is, look at what the carver did. He actually left this raised. You see that? There's just a little bit of raised portion where the quartz crystals would be. And I wondered what that was about. Maybe it was just to position it, to angle it up just ever so little. I don't know. That one I didn't figure out. But anyway, this carving has a lot of detail and just is a lot, it's just natural. And I really like that part to it. And you're gonna love this part to it. I am offering that entire carving for only, you ready for this one? $88. I kid you not, $88. Not going to have another one like it at that kind of value. Nope. I have had this for a long time. It's time to share it with someone else at an excellent value. Okay, let's look at something 100 million years old or so. That would be item 1066322. 1066322. Now, this one will actually come with a stand. Yep, cheapskate Shawn's going to include a stand with it. And wow, maybe you saw it in the backdrop last week. I never got to it. Check this out. I have not, it won't even fit in the shot. I have not offered something this large in an ammonite in a long, long time. It doesn't mean I don't have them. It just means I haven't offered it. Look at the size of this. Okay, so they measure them from here to here, and the larger they are, the more expensive they get. 6.5 to 7 inches is about the most common, largest size. Now, not that they're necessarily common, but it's the largest size that you will find them most commonly. Occasionally, you'll see one larger, but that would be really rare. So 6.5, 7 inch, in that range, this is considered a large ammonite. Now, in the real world, ammonites were anywhere from as small as an inch or even a little bit less. The different species used to be very common. They finally were killed off in the last extinction period, which was when the dinosaurs were killed off 65 million years ago. So they belong, the ammonite belongs to the same family as the cephalopods, as squids and octopus and nautiluses, and going back to goniatites was a prior form of a cephalopod to this. And so what you have is all these chambers, and there would be a siphuncle, which would be like a tube that would run through all these chambers, and it allowed the buoyancy. It allowed the ammonite to be able to control its buoyancy as to what level in the water it wanted to be at to feed. Now, these areas would be open. When it fossilized, what you're looking at is calcite. All right, so this is calcite. I didn't check, but I just assumed it may very well fluoresce. Now, what happens when you see this is the calcite crystals, again, like the quartz I talked about, continued to grow until they grew into each other and closed up the chambers. Now, some of the chambers in different other specimens you can find will have the open, and here's one right up here. You can see this is an open one that didn't fully grow together, and you have calcite crystals lining the inside of it. You can see right back in there. So whether they're closed or not, it's beautiful either way. It's beautiful when you have the crystals. It's beautiful when it's this. The other times you just get the more common fossilized, well, I just call it mud, but it's probably a nicer word. This one's really beautiful. It has a lot of calcite chambers. Now, this is a wonderful, wonderful showy side to it. The animal had tentacles that came out right here. So this is where the little tentacles came out. And of course, this has been sawed in two. Now, what you're going to see on the other side is where the gemstone ammonite comes from. Now, it's not known to very commonly be used from the Madagascan specimens. Almost always your gemstone ammonite is from the Canadian deposit that is so well known. But doesn't mean to say that there isn't any at all. Let's look at the other side. And you will see it's been polished off, a portion of it. Where I put the sticker, you can see hasn't been polished off. You can actually feel the lip there, but all this has been polished off. And let's see if we can't show you why and catch the colors on this. This has some remarkable reds. There we go. There we go, picking it up wonderfully. Look at this. And as I turn, look at the different colors as I turn this and kind of fighting the glare of the light. But look at the reds. There's actually rainbow colors, and look at coming through there, and it goes all the way on. Look at the purples. Wow, look at that. There we go. There we go. Look at that. The full rainbow of colors, the purples, and as we keep, and see this edge right there? There's actually a lip. So it's neat that they left that so you can see what it looks naturally before that was polished off. Look at those colors. Oftentimes in the very center, there'll be other little fossils that fossilize in the mud with it. We'll see if there's any there. But look at that. That's showing some beautiful, beautiful play of color tone, adding, of course, additional value, desirability. And then back over here, look at this on the other side. This is much nicer than I thought. The camera really picking up the colors that I wanted it to. Wow, there we go. I mean, there's your ammonite, truly. I mean, you can see that. And technically, if you had a specimen that wasn't as nice as this, you could cut cabs out of that and have a gemstone. Look at those colors. They actually, there's actually slight ribbing to it. You can actually feel the kind of the raised areas the way they did that. Very clever. So you can see how they removed that. Here's the center where there's often sometimes little fossils. There you go. You can see a little edge of a shell right there. There's another one right there. That's kind of neat to see. And here we go. If you get your light, you can actually see the difference in the hardness, and that's why they kind of stand out right there. So a stunning specimen. Here you can see actually a portion of the depth of the chambers right there in the end of it. This is a wonderful double-sided specimen. I'm including the stand with it. And you know, I'm not sure which side I would display this better on. It could be, you know, that's beautiful in its own right, the way it's polished. So turn it around every now and again and you get a totally new look. Big specimen, look at my hand. That's a beauty. That's a big one. All right, price on this. I have a incredible opportunity for what it is and the size that it is. These actually have really gone up in price over time. This one, and size makes a huge difference with these, and whether they're been polished. Think about the extra time it takes to polish it right to the correct level for that kind of, bring out the color on that. So a lot more time involved. When they cut them in half like this, they put them on flat laps, and the lap does the polishing. The other side, because it's curved and not flat, you can't do that. It has to be hand polished with a wheel. These big wheels that they use, and grit polish, and then a grit for sanding. And then when they get to the coarse area removed, they'll polish it with another compound. So it's a multiple step process to do the other side because of the curvature to it. That side, flat side, a machine often does it. Price on that guy, only $118. Only $118. And if you have a Canadian specimen, this would be a great piece to have kind of next to the Canadian specimen for a side-by-side comparison of the two. The Canadian material is stunning, but for the Madagascar material, what you just saw on the other side, that's really at something that's very close to as good as it gets. Sometimes you'll get the red ones, where they don't actually cut them in half. They'll polish both sides down to the red layer. And even though that's beautiful, the multicolor, like you saw on the other side of this, is the more desirable, of course, than the ones that are just red. But in the live show I did many years ago, we sold a lot of ones that were whole. They were only about 3 to 4 inches large, but they had stunning, nothing but red, but stunning red on both sides. It was really pretty. Anyway, only $118 on that one. Okay, I am getting ready to show you, let me see, something here. It will take a minute to talk about, of course, because this is, and if you could, it is in the, on the label, but if we could also put it in the graphic. This coming up is the museum grade piece. 1067622. I hope that's a 6 and not an 8. 1067622. Okay, I have sold a few of these to all of you before. This will come with the stand you're going to see, and it is, yes, a scolecite. I am letting go with, look at the size of this. This is stunning, of course, like all the other scolecites that I have offered. And you look at the size of this. This is something that you can go and try to compare on the internet, and there is only very, very, very few that you will find. And the prices on something this size, upwards of $3,000. Maybe you could find one somewhat similar for $1,500. What I'm telling you is the price is compared to, I'm just going to tell you the price right now, and then we're going to talk about it. $438. $438. So you can see the size of this. It is cabinet quality size. It is in stunning condition. You're going to get the little windstand with it. And there's more to this when we start showing you closer up. But in case you wanted it, I want to give you the price. You can just run to the phone and grab it now. Because I don't know how many of these I can actually end up offering. I told you I made an incredible buy years ago. And I was so fortunate to be able to do that, because these are a true rarity. And this is what I kidded Andy about, you know, in regarding the shipping. I said, I've got another porcupine for you to wrap if anyone grabs this. Okay, so Now, it's able to be picked up. The crystals just don't fall out. It's not that fragile. You can actually pick it up with your hand like this. I'm not going to do it right now, but, well, I could do it. And, you know, it's not going to break. You got to be a little bit careful with it. Of course, if you drop it, it's going to fall apart. But yeah, you can actually turn it upside down and crystals won't shake out of it or anything. Now, we had this displayed. So it was amazing. It picked up dust on the top. I thought, oh, this is going to be really tough to clean. Oh, no. All I had to do was, it was amazing. Turn it upside down, and I let the pressure of the tub faucet, and it literally just washed everything out. Just washed all the dust particles out. They were, and it only had trapped them on the top. It didn't even trap them further down in it. So that was pretty interesting to see. Now remember, a scolecite is a member of the zeolite family, which has everything to do with water. Water is always part of their chemical formula. And I wondered if it got wet, if it would like absorb or do anything like that. No, it's all stable like that. And the reason why zeolites are so desirable is their molecular structure. It allows, depending on what type of zeolite, it allows certain size other molecules to pass through its molecular structure and others not so. That's why they are used for oil spills. They can target the type zeolite for what kind of particular item they're trying to filter. And it's amazing how nature provides these natural sieves for doing that. They can either trap a material or they can let a particular material through and other material not, depending on its molecular size structure. In other words, the size of the molecule. And if you skip too many of your chemistry classes, you know, all molecules are of different size particles at the molecular level. So some are bigger than others, and it's a stunning gift from nature to be able to clean up what man damages. And we're lucky to have the zeolites for that purpose. Now, yeah, wow. Look at down in there. And see, I couldn't even see this well. I have only located a few other minerals, but there has to be other zeolites in here, lomentite being one of them. And that you'll be able to find. They're white crystals, and they usually have a diagonal termination. And wow, looking down in there, stunning. Now I'm going to pick this up so we can travel around this piece. Okay, here is what some of the fun is. Okay, right here. Look at these. All right, these are additional scolecite formations that have just grown on their own. Now look at the orange. Okay, when you're seeing the orange, if you look at the terminations, the end of those crystals. Those are clear stilbites with a little bit of the color to them. So in this particular one little area, you have this incredible additional, let me get my pointer, formation of stilbite growth in these plumes. Ah, there we go. There's a good picture of the stilbite, I mean, scolecites here. Then you have, look at this stilbite growing right there. Two of them, as a matter of fact, and the little extra dust particle, which I don't know if I can do it backwards and figure out how to get it out of there. But anyway, you can have fun doing that. So let's look at this. Let's turn this and look down here in the corner. Look, okay, so you have stilbite. Then look at, if this was given more time, look at these other scolecites growing in all kinds of directions. And they're growing on top of other scolecites, or on top or with the stilbites. Okay, now, as we keep, look at that. Look at those. Look at that formation right here, this big Christmas tree formation growing right amongst that. So I was thinking that was another possible zeolite mineral. Look at how far that grows into it. But I think, and there's another little plume. This is what was different about this one over the other ones, is it had these additional scolecite growths amongst the other ones, and like a second generation, which is most likely what it is, of course, if they're growing on top of the others. A second generation came in and grew. So here we have stilbites and scolecites, smaller type formation, and look at it, same thing here. Stilbites at the bottom with scolecites. Look at that additional growth. This is what makes it so additionally valuable, is the aesthetics of it. Look at that. And I can't help but to think that amongst all this is not lomentite, could be gyrolite, okanites. They are all often found together. So you can see any of those little orange areas, those are going to be stilbites. And then see the little red spots, you can get hematite. Hematite as well. So I didn't have room to list that, so just keep that in mind in your head as to what they are. That's kind of easy to remember. Most people know red and hematite. So this is the edge. This is the edge of it, which is stunning. And again, it looks like a secondary growth occurrence. Wow, okay, look at this. Look at this area. Look in that holler. You have incredible multiple mineral formations. It's unusual that the scolecites formed in completely different kind of smaller crystals, thinner. If they continue to grow into a large crystal, I wondered if it would wind up looking like this. In other words, what did this start off looking like? There is so much to see. So let's look at the top of this for a moment. We've been traveling the edge, and I'm holding this the whole time, and nothing has fallen off or come off of it. Now, let's look at the back side right here. There we go. Look at that. Look at how dainty they appear and how they have formed completely separate from the other ones, going in different directions. Look at there's even, let me see this one, poke this right there, this other smaller one right there. I mean, how does nature do that? It's amazing. Look at that, just tucked amongst the other crystal. Then of course, look at the stilbite right there. Yeah, these you just do not see for sale. They are so aesthetically beautiful, and of course, somewhat fragile. It's not like a cluster of quartz crystals. But all of these, each one has its own character and its own look, and are unusual from each other. Let me flip this, look straight down on it. Wow, look at that. Look at that. And then over here, of course, you have stilbites, and then look at all the little, I mean, if that was all it was just that size world, that would be incredible and beautiful in its own. But that's just a small portion of the entire piece. So, you know, it appears a lot more fragile than it actually is, because I'm able to hold it. I have pressure on the crystals itself, and, you know, they're just not falling off. Now, you don't want to, you know, put your finger on the smaller ones or do anything like that. I would imagine that might be an issue. But you can display these and not worry about having to clean or dust them. And that's why I said that. It's like, you know, we have enjoyed them. And so I thought, oh man, I saw some dust on top. It's like, how am I gonna get that clean? It literally just washed off them. And like I said, it told me right then, it's like, wow. So even in the world of just dust and in one's house, the scolicites, being a zeolite, was a filtering mechanism. What it was actually doing was filtering out the dust in the air. I mean that. I mean, it might let me show you that, you know, I mean, yeah, it's difficult to dust all the mineral specimens we have. So this was actually pulling dust out of the air. And look at that really neat little cluster. And then it was just, and then this one. So easy to clean it. It just literally washed out. No soap, no mechanical needs, and it only took a matter of moments. Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. Look at this entire little cluster of stilbites that have grown on top of, in multiple different directions, on top of the scolicites. See, look at down there. Those, let me get my pointer. That could be, where is it? Oh, look at that. The lomentite. Some of those crystals going in the other direction, like if they're individual and solid like white, because I can't imagine that there's not a lomentite crystal on here somewhere. You know, there's something sparkly on those. I'm kind of wondering what that's about. An amazing, large museum quality scolicite. And if I can figure out how this wooden base works, that's Raven World right there. I probably have this on the wrong way, but I'm sure I do. And wouldn't that be terrible? Because we shoot this show like a live show, so if something disastrous happens, you're going to get to see it. There's no redoing it. All right, there we go. That's not the right way it sits. I think it actually flips around the other way, but for intensive purposes in the moment right now, that's what you got. All right, so big specimen. The price, this is where I want you to go and look up what you can find something this amazing for. And then, you know, I know relative to other specimens, that sounds like a lot of money, but for what you get, it's not. Oh, I didn't show you the direct bottom, so let me show you that, because it's interesting in its own right. You have a lot of stilbites here. Here, I didn't list it, but there you go. Everybody should know this. Celadonite, remember, it's a type of, belongs to the mica family, believe it or not. And then if you get the little white in the pockets, remember garnetite. You can't forget that. So you have to remember all your different zeolites so you can try to find another one on here, which I have a feeling. So how many minerals? So we have hematite, we have scolicite, we have stilbite, we have garnetite. I have a feeling that there's one or two others. And that'll be left to you to explore. Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so let me just sit that there. Every different angle you turn that, it is striking. And look how big that is. Look at how big that is. Look at those. Another one that you turn around every now and again for a different look. You can see all the little different colors of stilbites sprinkled amongst the scolicites. By the way, the name scolicite, it gets, of course, from the Greek word skolex for worm. And you know why worm? Because when you take one of these individual crystals and they put it in a blowpipe back in the old days, it caused the crystal to curl up like a worm. And so, of course, with my torch, what does Shawn do? He had a crystal, and I had to see if that was true. Put the heat to it, and it curled up like a worm. So, very cool. I like names that give you information, and this one certainly does. It's you know, heavy specimen, so 13. So it's like, yeah, about 3 pounds. About 3 pounds. So certainly you get, by way of weight, your money's worth in this incredible, incredible piece. All right, let's see. Fun has not stopped yet because there is more to come. And as each week goes by, you're going to see more things that you never thought I'd have. That's how extensive our collection is and how eclectic it is. I have a sale price on something. Let's look at item number 788818. Wow. Did I get, let me repeat that. 788818. So, talk about a good luck number. Of course, the number 8 in the Asian world is their lucky number. Of course, 7 is ours. So when you get all those 8s like that, very auspicious, very lucky. Check this out. This is one of those specimens I told you to make sure that you get one of. Let me remove this gently. I'll leave you this and then I'll clean this off in just one moment. Let me move it back. Let me move this gently to a safe spot. All right. Look at this. A red zircon. Now, this is an amazing piece, if for no other reason, it's fluorescence. Because it's one of those that really only responds to shortwave fluorescence, not long wave. And it glows an amazing yellow color. And it's really interesting because a lot of minerals, they'll respond stronger under one wave or the other, but you get some response from both. In this case, no, only shortwave fluorescence. And I thought that was kind of neat. And just like in the gemstone world, I should make the next thought. No, I guess that'll be too hard. If I said what and say the answer to your head, and then let me know if you got it right. So the question would be, what gemstone fluoresces only under shortwave light? So what, not common, but one of the very expensive gemstones only fluoresces under shortwave ultraviolet light. I'll go ahead and tell you the answer because it's one of the ways, and I've used it before, for determining whether it is what it's supposed to be. That's bonitoite. Bonitoite, yep, bonitoite. Glows an amazing whitish blue color under shortwave, nothing under long wave, and it's only one of the rare gemstones that has any reaction to shortwave fluorescence. So it's a great way to determine bonitoite from sapphire or any other blue stone. So there you go. All right, now, this is a large crystal. The black in this case, remember I showed one last week where the black was another mineral and not the biotite mica that you see here. You can see it's biotite by its multiple reflections, and this has a large classic shaped crystal. So if you turn it this way, this would be the termination. And this would be an interesting one because I've seen these actually be removed from their matrix, in other words, ground out of it, and then you have the separate crystal. But you can see some of it's actually been removed along here, it appears like, to be able to show you this other face of the termination. But look at that rich, rich red color. So this one, sale price, not everything's going to be expensive today. It is, and I can't believe it, that I'm marking it down to this, only $34. $34. And if you do not have one of these red zircons from Pakistan, you have to. You just have to have one. It's these, again, something very difficult to find out in the marketplace. And yet here you're being offered a nice large one for a minimal price, and a great opportunity for you to study and learn shortwave fluorescence. Remember, shortwave is the more dangerous one, so don't go looking at either one of them. But obviously, with all the black lights that they make and whatnot, you can look at black light, but you cannot look at the light of a shortwave fluorescent light bulb. That's just something you don't want to do. Now, let's look at 1054622. And this is a good one to show you that kind of goes along with that chunky gal specimen I showed you with the sapphire. So if I showed this to you like this, you know, you have the green material, kind of similar to the smaragdite of chunky gal material. You have the little black material in it, kind of similar to chunky gal material. And yet, what's so special about it? Well, the green is zoisite. And zoisite being the same mineral as tanzanite. Yeah, tanzanite. So this is found in the Maasai tribal area, and that's why production is real limited. It depends on what's going on with the Maasai tribe. This is a neat piece because look at, I sawed it and sprayed it. Look at the other side. Look at the rubies in that. You know, you just wouldn't know they were there oftentimes until you cut into it. And wow, see that? Just nothing until you cut into it. And then look what you have. Look what you have. Now, the black, I used, and you know, even in the publications now, it said it's so commonly, they said that it was Schirmerkite, which is a type of hornblende. Well, people learn differently over time, and now it has been corrected in the journals and publications as being what it actually is, which is pargasite. So the black material isn't even belong to the same family. It belongs to the pargasite family, which, as you know, the valuable pargasites are the beautiful green material that I've showed you before that rests on marble. It's from in Vietnam, or is one location that some beautiful material found also associated with spinels, which is really neat. I've sold some of those before to you. This one, sale priced. And again, you still don't know what's in the other piece. So this would be a cool one if you wanted to take a slice down it and slice, if you had a saw, for those of you that do, take a slice or two off of it because it is sale priced and therefore you can afford to do that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to mark it down from what it was to the new price of only $34. You know what? Let's do this. Let's make it $28. Sorry, $28. Yeah. I need more money. And that should be able to get someone interested in that indeed. Now, coming over here to the other side, let me see what I wanted to show you relative to the other items. I had some, might show you that. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Here we go. This works, and I can't believe I still have this parcel. Let's look at item 738417. 738417, and this is the last one I have of it. And if you have a tumbler, if you let me just put out a couple. Well, look at these. Now, you know, this is ridiculous. Look at this. So, okay, here's kunzite that didn't lose its color. These are amazing. Look at that. And natural color. That even looks, yeah, it is facet grade. That will facet a stone. Where can you find this much cutting material? Look at that. And you can really learn how to orient dichroic stones if you haven't had practice with it. In other words, you don't cut the stone in that direction. You want to try to find the stone with that in the C-axis, the lengthwise axis, to be able to cut a stone and bring the color out. if nothing else, these can be tumbled. You can see that's more of a kind of a yellowish piece, kind of a triphane color. But anyway, this is the last parcel I have of material like this. And there's a good bit of it to have some fun. 300 carats of it, 300 carats. And so let's see. Okay. Last parcel. I can't believe this, but let me do this. Okay, here we go. How would you like that entire parcel for only, let me scratch these other opportunities out. I don't know, it's crazy to even do it at this, but I'm going to. $19. I can't do the 18. I love the auspicious number 8, but $19, that's where we're at. And, you know, that one piece is a $19 stone. There's so much there. And if nothing else, you can display all these together as part of a spodumene display. Actually, there's more. Or put them on your glass shelf together like that, and it makes its own display. For $19, 300 carats, I don't expect that to come back. All right, give me a minute. Let me put up a couple things. I'll be right back. All right, now I'm going to include a stand with this one, just because I think it looks really kind of cool standing up, but you can use a stand for whatever you want, because it also looks good like this, because you get to see the porcupine nature to the quartz. Now, this one I am putting on a huge discount sale price. This, I don't think all of you really recognize and realize when I told you about it coming from Bulgaria and from the Medan ore field. And it is one of Europe's oldest existing ore bodies that goes back to ancient times. So what does ancient mean? They couldn't actually pinpoint ancient, but that would be BC, which I think they're calling something else now, as far as the reference. So you're talking about over 2,000 years ago, they were working this particular ore body for the different minerals found in it. And it's one of those multiple ores. So quartz was not what they were mining it for. They were mining it for, you know, lead, all the usable minerals. Now, in the Middle Ages and into the 1500s, that's when mining really picked up. And they, you know, of course, as science picked up and they could extract minerals more readily from the ores. And so it has been producing minerals, and the ancient tribal people going back thousands of years were aware and, you know, of this amazing mineralogical body of different ores. So, and one of the other things that they found there, quartz. Look at this. Look at this specimen. Now, the really neat thing as we go in close to this is it has microcrystals as part of its formation. And by microcrystals, I mean little tiny crystals growing on top of the existing crystals. And this is when you take, look at the different direction, look at the irises in some of these. Magnification, and you look down into the crystals. And, oh, yeah, I can see one right there. And it makes aesthetically, there we go, Dave's taking us in. Look at those, see that little, let me point to it so you know what we're looking for right here at the end, right back in there. See that tiny little crystal right there at the end of the tip? They are scattered throughout this. Look at the irises down in there. And they're growing up alongside, they're creating bridges. Look at all the little irises I see in between the other quartz crystals. And it's one of those that, wow, Wow, look at that. There's another one coming up off of that. There's some chlorite I see in there also. Look at that, going in a different direction. Wow, look at this. And these specimens, wow, look at that. Look at all that. Okay, wait, here we go. Here I see one right there. There's a little one. See that little crystal growing right off there. And then look at the beautiful irises. And then look at the red spots. That's hematite. Hematite amongst there. So I think I have that listed in information, so keep that in mind if you get this, so you know what it is. And okay, so you see the yellowish color, that's going to be chlorite, another mineral that's growing within it. And then you have those little tiny crystals you have to hunt for, but I see hematite scattered throughout. I see way more irises than I ever realized in this. Yeah, look at the beautiful, see, you can't even see all that until you have magnification like that. So wonderful included quartz. I would rather have quartz with inclusions of other minerals than quartz that is completely clean. I think it makes for a much more interesting specimen to have inclusions, like that Amethyst Sphere. To have all those other really neat inclusions is way more cool. Look at right here. Let me feel the outside. Okay, yeah, that's not on the outside. Right in there. Look at, is that a phantom chlorite? Can we go right in there? You see the point to that? It is. It is. There's a phantom chlorite with even additional little hematite inclusions to it. And oh, there we go. Here's one. Let me show you. Micro quartz, let me see, right there as a light. Those little tiny quartz crystals. There you go. Oh, there's several. You can see several. One there, one back behind it. I love when I see those. I love those little tiny crystals like that. To me, that's just, oh, this is only $88. I have marked this down large, big sale. That even puts it less than what I have in it. There's the back of it. And in your Arkansas quartz material, which, you know, as far as quality, this comes close, but Arkansas, you just don't find these kind of smaller crystalline growths like this, and in a porcupine type of formation. So this is unique to its own area, and I'm looking for any Muso habit quartz crystals. Now that I know about the Muso habit, actually, right there. Can we look just at the tip of this crystal right there? Muso habit is where it pretty much terminates on only 3 sides. So we have 1, 2, and well, almost. See, that's too small. Almost. I bet there's one somewhere. The irises in this are outstanding. Outstanding. If you collect quartz at all, to have a specimen from the Medan ore field, no one else is going to have that in their quartz collection. Almost no one. I'm sure someone would, but so, you know, I'll include the stand. It's one of those folding stands, so if you don't use it for this, you can use it for many other things. Okay, let me show you next. Can't believe I have this one. 1062322. 1062322. Check this out. Danburite. Danburite. Yeah, you know danburite, but this is danburite as it comes out of the ground in its crystalline form. Danburite crystals are real easy to recognize, actually, because of the way they terminate. They always look like the end of a flathead screwdriver, I guess is the best way I can describe it. Plus, calcite. And it's fluorescent calcite. So let's go in and look at this. Look at all these beautiful calcites. I think I could rather describe this and sell it as a calcite specimen. Yeah, I mean, it makes it look busy at first when you see it. You don't really know what you're looking at. But when you realize what you're looking at, then you can really appreciate it for what it is. Look at the calcites, and they're fluorescent, so that's going to add a whole bunch of beauty to it if you're going to put it in a fluorescent collection. So see the termination on that? Flat across the bottom, and then they have these real sharp faces like that on either side. And they don't have many other habits. In other words, they don't form in many other formations other than that. Not like calcite, which has over 100 different habits and formations it's found in. Look at all these. Look at all the calcites on this. It's stunning. Even look at it way down in there. I don't think anybody appreciated this as much as I did when I had it in my collection. And so I'm willing to part with it. Look at the clarity actually of this. It's difficult to see, but if you catch the light on this, look at that. You can see that that termination is quite clean. If it didn't have a bunch of calcites all over it, look at that. And then look at down in there. This is a real beauty. And Mexican calcite. This is, again, from my own personal collection. When it says Shawn, that means it has been in our collection for quite some time. And now I am parting with it. So it would be a wonderful piece to have in a fluorescent collection even. Or in your gem, where you keep your gem crystals, if you have it separated out like that. Let's see. So, dambrite, it's unusual because it's a calcium borate, so there's boron in it, which is, you don't hear that too often. And you also have datalite. So it's from San Luis de Potosi, which is a really very mineralized area of Mexico. And datalite belongs to the gadoliniite family. It's Greek meaning to divide in reference to its granular types. And the datalite, you have to be able to recognize separate from the calcite. And you do that by looking at the crystal form of datalite itself. Then you'll be able to pick them out. Also, if you go to check the fluorescence of it, you'll be able to see what fluoresces and what doesn't, and what fluoresces in the smaller crystals is, of course, the calcite. Datalite is a similar formula, so you can see how it would form with it. It actually has all the exact calcium, boron, silicon, and oxygen, all the same elements, just rearranged different molecularly. Price on this one, I'm going to put it on sale. I am going to put this thing on sale, and believe it or not, that big specimen is only going to be $64. $64 you get, and if you don't have datalite in your collection, you can add it to it with this specimen. It's really quite remarkable when you look at it for what it actually is and everything that's going on. The datalite are going to be similar to the calcite, so you'll be able to figure them out. You got to just do a little homework to do it. Okay, last specimen, last item of the show. Coming up, this is 1060722. 1060722. I referenced this earlier. This is an amazing piece of what they call ruby jack sphalerite and galena. If you don't have galena, the famous lead ore, then this is a great one. Look at this. These are the galena crystals. Look how lead looking they look. And boy, it is soft. Okay, so those are the galenas. Now, let's look at, galena is just a lead sulfide. Greek word, of course, galene for lead ore. Okay, it has pyrite, which you can probably see, and sphalerite, which is a zinc sulfide. Pyrite is an iron sulfide. So you have three sulfide minerals right here. Greek word for sphalerite, of course, sphaleros, meaning treacherous, in allusion to how easy it was mistaken for galena, but then when they went to smelt it, it yielded no lead. So that's why they called it treacherous. This is from the Joplin field in Missouri. It's a chert matrix. And remember, the Greek word pyrite, pyre, means fire, sparks. So you can create sparks, if you didn't know that, with pyrite. Now, they call this kind ruby jack. This is from the tri-state mines, which makes it real unusual. And that is where Oklahoma and Kansas come together. And it was closed in the 60s. And Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. And let me show you, if I can with the light here. Let's go in close. So here are, okay, so we know about sphalerite. Now, I'd be curious to know if these sphalerites are triboluminescent, now that I know that, that there are such a thing. But I don't think so. I think that triboluminescence is kind of very particular to that particular mine and location. So ruby jack, these are going to be red. Let's look right at the edge of this one, and you can see, yeah, it's very saturated red. There we go. There we go. You can see the red-orange color to it. There's another one. There's the red-orange. The sphalerites are all over this piece. Thank you, sir. And the big ones, the little ones, and then everything in between is pyrite. Look at that, pyrite, all pyrite. And then on a chert matrix, that would be kind of behind this material, but this is almost all, look at this, all, wow, look at that, ore material, sphalerite, pyrite, 3 different sulfides, and galena. A stunning specimen. I have never seen actually a red sphalerite faceted. It'd be kind of neat to see that, but this one wouldn't be worth breaking up to do that. It is too unique and unusual because the mine that produced these has been closed since the 60s, and it's a very rare and unusual collector specimen. I'm going to put this on sale as well. And let's take a large markdown from the price, which I shouldn't do, but you know I'm a desperate man right now. Let's make it only $68. $68, last item of the show. We'll be right back with the trivia. Okay. So as you can probably see, yeah, I have all these items right in front of me. So without the Raven here to help me clean up, it's going to take me a while to wrap them up carefully, because I know Andy is going to do it right. I just have to make sure that I get it all nicely done and give it to Kevin. The whole process, it works really smooth, and I can't say there's ever been an issue. All right. Now, I have 3 questions this time. And notes, you can look at your notes all you want. But the idea is for you to listen to the show and try to retain what you hear, which, you know, often there's a lot of different information, but that's why you watch the show. It's not like a normal show that just gives you generalized info. We dive a little deeper, and as long as the show keeps going on, you know, the longer we go, maybe we get a little harder, but then some weeks it's real easy. I think last week was easy, right? So this week, let's see how you do. And if you can't get all 3 right, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe 2. Maybe only 2 right answers will win it. But no rewinding, no going back. You listen to it first thing, then place your orders, get what you want, and then answer the trivia. I mean, I don't want you missing out on anything because you were studying on the trivia. All right, here we go. Ready? Question number 1. What is the name of the sparking effect that some minerals have and others don't, but in today's show was represented by a sphalerite that whoever's lucky enough to get that specimen can have a little fun with it, and it doesn't hurt the crystals. And if I'm not careful, I'll give away the answer. But anyway, I'm going to actually see if all sphalerites do it, but I don't think so, because I was already underneath the table with another one, and I think just some from that particular mine. Anyway, I'm looking at the specimen if you see my eyes drifting, because I see it right in front of me. I want to go underneath the table again. All right, so what is that name? What is the name of that effect? Also the same effect when you bite on a wintergreen, lifesaver. And if you have never done that, and of course, it was a child, my own, many years ago that had to show me that. I didn't even know they did that. I actually don't like peppermint or those kind of mint things. Raven can't believe I don't, because she loves those kind of lifesavers. But anyway, what is the name of that? Also, peeling off a Band-Aid can do it. So what is the name of that sparking effect? It's really associated with minerals. It didn't get its name from wintergreen lifesavers or anything else. It survived it. Yeah. Question 1. Question number 2. What uncommon element is found in Damberite? See, a little bit harder. You had to be listening for that one. What uncommon element? In other words, it's found in other minerals, but not too many that I've shown. So what uncommon element is found in Damberite? Question number 3 is galena, pyrite, and sphalerite have what element in common? Galena, pyrite, and sphalerite. They're very simple ORE minerals, where they have the metal for the ore and one other element. So galena is mined for lead, pyrite has iron, and sphalerite has zinc. So, and all three only have one other element. What is that other element? There you go. Okay, so I have had a wonderful time, and as much as part of me, every time I sell off these wonderful things, feels like part of the family, but I know they're going to great homes, and I know by you taking advantage of the opportunity to get these is really helping me out in the end. So that's supporting the show, and I need more money. And I appreciate your support so much and all your kind words through this difficult time. But with the Raven feeling better, and it makes me feel better, and I want to share. I want to share, and that's what you're going to see in the weeks to come. And I'm sure in this show you're going to come away saying, "Wow, you are seeing part of our family. All these incredible specimens are items, 50-year collection, and it is as eclectic as it looks. I collect a little bit of everything, and it's kind of fun to share them. It really is, as opposed to me having just, who knows, something happening to me one day and never knowing what comes of them, or not being able to offer them in this kind of relationship. So it's a good thing, and if I was, since I am moving these, it's a great way for me to pass these on to others. So really some beautiful things being offered, and more beautiful things are coming. So just stick to every show, watch every show, enjoy it, remember what you hear, learn from it, and then I'm really passing on the most valuable part that I can ever share with you, and that's my knowledge. Even if I don't pronounce some words correctly, it's still knowledge that you can use. God bless. Love all of you and all your support, and I will look forward to seeing you again next week.